Everything in moderation. I know what you're thinking. Of all the days to talk about moderation, the eve of probably one of the biggest eating days of the year and what arguably kicks off the holiday season. But bear with me, because I feel like this is a good time to talk about something like this. And when I was thinking about what to talk about, I was thinking how especially during this time, but in general, one of the hardest things for people to do is to eat healthy and lose weight and that sort of thing. When I started at Northrop, I gained quite a bit of weight and got up to about 235. But after doing some different things, I'm down to where, and have been where I am now, which is about 180, 185. It fluctuates, right? So I wanted to kind of share with you some of my thoughts and strategies on what to do. And one of the big things, I think, exercise is a given, but I think one of the things that a lot of people don't take as serious is their nutrition, because it plays such a big part of that. You can exercise all you want, but if you eat like crap, it's not going to make much of a difference. You're not going to see those sorts of improvements. So, everything in moderation. So where do we fail? Like, why is it so, where do we go wrong? To me, diets is one of the things that it's a kind of a four-letter diet is a four-letter word that we hear all the time, or that people, and it sets us up for failure, because usually diets involve cutting something out, right? Something that we're restricting ourselves from. Usually it's something that we want to eat. And what happens when we cut out stuff that we want? We crave it. We want it even more. And then what eventually happens when we crave something, we give in, because we break down, because we've had it for so long, and we binge. And when we binge, then we feel guilty afterwards, right? I can't believe I ate that whole bag of chips. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate all that ice cream, right? And that's the bad thing about diets is they cut things out, and it causes us to kind of overcompensate in a way for that thing that we were cutting out. They're also kind of short-term focused. So instead of thinking long-term, they're usually finite amount of time, so they're not sustainable. Get your beach bod in 6 weeks or less, or something like that, right? And that's great, and you get there to the end of your diet, assuming you make it, and then you sit there and you go, well, now what? And so you look great maybe for a few weeks, and then you're back to doing your old ways, and you gain all the weight, and you're like, oh crap, how'd I get here again? So it's the short-term thinking. And it's kind of the problem with, you see a lot of cleanses too, right? Where people, you drink juice for 2 weeks, and then, oh, surprise, you lose weight. Well, yeah, because you haven't eaten anything for 2 weeks. So what can we do differently? Or what should we do? We have to think. So one of the things, the reason why people, I think, go to diets so often is they crave that kind of like an easy answer. They crave that structure. It's like, oh, here's a plan that I can follow. And so we have to kind of beat ourselves at our own thinking and set up a plan and some sort of structure for us to follow. And so I think if we set up a plan for ourselves, you'll help and structure our thinking around like healthy like ways of eating, then you're kind of setting yourself up for success. So one of the things I did originally was I created a food log. It's something pretty easy. You don't have to get super specific with it. Just in Excel, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can put down what you ate. You don't have to put how many calories or how much necessarily. You can just say, I had some cereal and some toast. Or maybe lunch was a sandwich, some chips, and I had some cookies, sort of a thing. Just really basic, because the idea is it gets you thinking about what did I eat for this meal, and you'll start to see kind of a pattern emerge. And you'll start thinking more often about, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have that, or maybe I should try and work this in. And because you're starting to see now, you're visualizing what it is you're eating. And on top of that, then let's say you make small changes. Instead of like big changes like in a diet where you cut something completely out, or you only eat pineapple for 2 weeks. I had a friend who did that. I'm sorry, not 2 weeks, 3 days. It was still just as painful to watch him do it.
Oh, goodness.
But so you make small changes, like say, okay, with dinner every night, I'm going to try and have some sort of vegetable. And I don't mean olives on your cheese pizza. I mean maybe like a small side salad with that pizza, right? But it's little changes, something that's sustainable, and that's not going to be too much of a thing. And you'll start to notice as you make those changes, you will start to see results. And that's the other thing, is you have to think long term. Maybe you won't get that beach bod this season, maybe not even next season, but focus more on those small changes, eating healthy and incorporating the right stuff, and you will start to see that progress over time. It won't be immediate, but that's okay, because in the long run you'll be more satisfied with what you get, and you'll be able to maintain those things. And then finally, don't cut out things either. I'm not a big proponent of cutting out, hence the whole moderation thing. Because again, when we cut things out, I feel like we start to crave, and then we end up binging on it. So it's okay if you really like chips, for instance, then eat those chips. My wife, for instance, really loves chips, and I would never tell her what to do, because then I get in trouble. But I would say, if you are like, take your favorite thing that you love to eat that's probably not good for you, and like chips, you dump them out into a bowl, close it up, put it away, and then have your chips. Yes, you might go back and refill the bowl, but there's a good chance you won't, because now you're kind of thinking about, oh, I ate my bowl, and now I'm done. You won't necessarily go back to them. So it's about setting up those structures and the way of thinking. And finally, eat breakfast. It's the one thing a lot of people don't do, but it's really important that you do. It sets up your whole day. And even if you're like, I'm not a breakfast person, well, become one. Because it's setting up your entire day of eating. You will feel more full and eat less throughout the day if you start and have that breakfast in the morning, even if it's something, like a breakfast bar or something. It's better to have something than nothing at all. So dieting is hard. I should say proper nutrition is hard, and having that healthy way of eating is difficult, and you won't necessarily see the results right away. It'll be a long road. But in the end, if you focus on what you're eating, if you try and practice moderation, and you try and eat breakfast, you, I think, will see the results that you want, and you'll be able to maintain those results. Have a Thanksgiving.